up to now, I'm still being challenged. I always ask him, how did you manage to know all of us in the church, to follow up all of us, to serve all of us? Hey, it is too much, I tell you. Another thing I always tell him is that
wubatse hoteli nziza gutya wanze ko abantu baza kwinezererwamo n'inzoga uragira ngo uzahombe n'abandi bose bange gushora imari mu karere kacu kugira ngo kuko waberetse ko wahombye. It's a challenge. Ariko nanjye mpagarara ku maguru yanjye abiri mbaha ingingo ebyiri. Ndababwira ngo aha hantu nubatse hoteli hari icyapa nabayeho umukarasi. So abantu nabaye umukarasi aho bacuruza inzoga n'uyu munsi baracyazicuruza. Bisobanuye rero ko inzoga ntacyo zimaze. Yewe rero wahabaye ntanywa inzoga nkahava ku bukarasi nkaba ngarutse kubaka hoteli ya miliyoni 100. Inzoga ntabwo iwanjye zifite agaciro cy'amumurongo. Iyo rero ni challenge ikomeye wahura nayo ukagamburuzwa, ariko Imana yaje kuntabara kugeza uyu munsi ndizera nashidi.
Panelists have read the book, isn't it? I'm very sure you have read the book. As you have read the book, I just want first to ask each and everyone among the panelists just to share with you in 30 seconds or just in a minute, what have you got in the book in relation to servant leadership? Let me start with Pastor Julienne.
Yes, thank you. I'm Pastor Julienne Kabanda Kabirigi. I'm a mother of 5 children and a husband, and together we are leading Grace Room Ministries and Jubilee Rev Assembly. Yeah, I would like to answer in this like this. Yes, I've gone through this book, but as a person, yeah, it's now 26 years since I've met Pastor Paddy. Yeah, that was in 1998. It's 26 years old, I think. Yes, that's when I was coming from the world. I was a good pagan, and then a good one. And then I joined the church. I got saved after just 1 year. That was in Rwanda for Jesus. That's just 1 year. That's when Pastor Paddy came from Uganda, and then he joined our church. I can say in one word, what is in this book? It is his life.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Wow.
It is his life. Yes, I think all of you have, maybe others are going to buy the book, they're going to read the book. But for me, I went through the book, but I've seen the book. Yes, he is what is in this book.
Wow.
Yes, you can imagine I was only 1 year into salvation, and I was full of the world. Many things in my head, in my heart. A lot of things was not in the line, you can imagine. And then I saw a man. I saw a man who he's not from here, you know, he's from Uganda by nationality. He joined our church, and I always tell him, I was challenged so much to see, how can I say, to see, let me use this word, to see a servant. Not a pastor. He's a pastor, but he was a servant, and he's still a servant to his people, let me say. Because all of us, and the church was big, if I can say. But up to now, I'm still being challenged. I always ask him, how did you manage to know all of us in the church, to follow up all of us, to serve all of us? Hey, it is too much, I tell you. Another thing I always tell him is that I saw, how can I bring this? I'm sorry to say, but we used to call him, I'm sorry to say, a praying machine.
Okay.
Yes, a generator, a praying generator. It was my first time from the world to see someone praying for an hour. One day, it was about a lunch hour fellowship. He prayed. I got annoyed. I cried. I said, you will never go to heaven. I get out from the church. I went outside. I came back. He was still praying. I said, so he wants to kill us. Eh? So this is all he can do. But today, I'm happy that I'm praying. I'm a praying woman too.
Wow.
He's a servant. You can call him in the night. You can call him in the morning. You can cry on his shoulders. You can ebanang. So,
Okay.
in one word, I read the book, but I saw the book.
So, simply, you are seeing the book moving.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Wow. Another round of applause to Pastor Paddy for not only instructing us, but also living by example.
Yes.
That's a key one.
Yes.
Then when she was saying that she was annoyed when she was seeing Pastor Paddy praying for an hour and a half and many other times. Now she's doing the same to her shift then.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's great. We are blessed to have people from different categories. We have a pastor here, we have a researcher, and we have a businessman.
Oh, yes.
Now, we want to hear from them. Dr. Joel, as a researcher, as an innovator, servant leadership is a subject. What have you got from the book? And in comparison, of course, with the Pastor Paddy who wrote it.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Pastor Paddy, for inviting me to come all the way from Barara to share a few thoughts with the people here. My spiritual muzee is also Apostle Kiza. I came with my wife, and yeah, a few thoughts. I believe one of the things Pastor Paddy writes in this book is that leaders are made, and that is very important to understand, that you don't count yourself out. Because many times people say, I don't have the gifting, I don't have the ability like so-and-so, but leaders are made. Now, how are those leaders made? It's also in the Bible. Jesus said, follow me, okay, and I will make you. So it brings me to another important point, which probably doesn't clearly come out from the book, but maybe by the end of this session it will come out. Just like they are servant leaders, they are servant followers, okay? Just like they are servant leaders, there must be servant followers. You cannot say, my leader is a servant leader, and for you, it's like, you know, your leader is a shepherd, but for you, a goat. I mean, it's not going to work, okay? So if we are to appreciate servant leadership, we must appreciate servant followership. And I mean, many of us seated here today may be trying to find our place. Say, I'm not a leader. You know, they are talking about leaders, but I am not a leader. You are not counted out. You are actually very, very important in this place, because you must learn to be a servant follower. Because many of our servant leaders are struggling and suffering because they are shepherds leading goats. Okay? You know, a shepherd is supposed to lead sheep. Jesus said, follow me. Okay? Follow me. It means you must leave everything and do what? And follow. Okay? That's very important as we are talking about servant leadership. We can throw, stones to other people. That person, you see how he's behaving. My pastor is not behaving very well. But for you, how are you behaving? Okay, are you a sheep or a goat? Okay, so if you are going to be helpful in this whole work of servant leadership, you must aspire to be a servant follower. And two, if you're going to understand servant leadership, there are two words, servant and leadership. Aspire to be a servant before you can aspire to be a leader. One of the greatest problems we find is that many people have already become leaders, but they are not servants. And it's very difficult to teach a leader to become a servant. It's easier to teach a servant to become a leader. And so that's the other thing as you leave this place. Perspire to become a servant. And then when you become a good servant, leadership will follow. But if you aspire to be a leader, it will be very difficult to become a servant. A leader. To become a servant. So, whatever you're taking away from today, desire with all your heart to find somebody to serve. Okay? Go out to serve. Jesus came to this world not to lead us. He came here to serve us. Wow. And because he served us very well, now he is our leader. That's very important for us to understand that leaders are made and they are not just born. Following up to that one, if you're going to be a follower, I've been reading Psalms 23 and trying to understand these Psalms very well. It says, the Lord is my shepherd. And then he said, and he leads me, and he guides me, and he makes my soul. That means you must be willing to be led. Okay? Which lands to the last chapter of this book. Independence is a curse. You are never going to be in a servant-leader relationship if your mind is full of independence. Okay? I have had the privilege of looking after sheep, physical sheep myself. They are very interesting animals. Okay? Sheep, where you put them, that's where you find them. They are very different from goats. Okay? A sheep, when you say this grass is good for it, and you tie it there, it will eat that grass and rest there. A goat will come and smell and say, no, this is not good. The good one is the other side. And if it's on a rope, it will pull until it goes the other side. Okay? So the Bible says, he restores my soul. He leads me beside quiet waters. So you must be willing to be led. Okay? Let go of your own aspirations and desires. Okay? Then the person will be able to make you. Okay? The curse of servant leadership. We can talk about that until tomorrow. God bless you.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Dr. Joel. Now, to Ms. Bayingana, actually, we're very happy to have you. We know more Matunda than Bayingana, isn't it? Because Matunda has brought an impact in our communities. Now, Bayingana, you have been in the business for a long time in the transport, and anyway, you started from scratch, and now you became a leader. So, what would you say about servant leadership? How has it been applied in your business to the level where you are so far?
Thank you, moderator. First of all, I thank you, moderator, and I thank you, Pastor Paddy, to invite me and it wrote this book. If you are a reader, you have to check everything. As leader, I need to make challenge here. I'm not sure that all of us we speak and understand very well English and French, right? So I need to speak Kinyarwanda as mother language, right? It will be good for me to introduce everything I have, because it is mother language, right? Audience, can I go ahead? Thank you. Nitwa Bayingana Elade, ndi umucuruzi, right? Ndi umucuruzi wabigize umwuga, ntabwo ndi umucuruzi ushakisha, kandi nabigize umwuga kuko ndi umucuruzi uva kure kandi ugeze kure. Igitumye nifuza kuvuga mu Kinyarwanda, aho nkorera hari terme technique zidafite Icyongereza. Yes. Kandi kuzisobanura biramfasha neza kugira ngo twumve icyatumye tuba hano cyangwa ikiri muri iki gitabo.
Mr. Bayingana, before you continue, it seems like there are some people who need to follow.
Yes.
Instead of just giving a summary afterwards, we need just interpret immediately. So you give the summary after. Okay. We apologize for
mu bantu bari hano nta muntu nabwira ngo mvugire mu Cyongereza umukarasi ngo abishobore.
That's the point.
Umukarasi ntiwamenya uwo ari we, nimvuga kuroba ntiwamenya ibyo ari byo, ariko mu Kinyarwanda murabizi. So nimbivuga rero birumvikana neza. Maze kubona iki gitabo jewe nkigereranya n'igitabo bita ubuzima bufite intego, kubera yuko ni igitabo gifite aho gikura umuntu, gifite naho kimwerekeza. So aho jewe nkorera mpari nk'umuyobozi kandi mpari nk'umukozi w'Imana. Gute? Mbere na mbere izina rya kampani yanjye risobanura gukorera Imana, ryitwa Matunda ya Kusali, bisobanura imbuto z'amasengesho, fruits of prayer. That is my company. Nari navuganye n'abantu ba media nshaka ko bashyiraho logo yanjye kugira ngo nayisobanure, kuko nayo ni ibyanditswe biyigize. So aho nkorera rero kwakorera Imana ntibyoroshye, kubera yuko ni societe ifite ukundi bayeho. Aha turi muri iyi room tuvuga Icyongereza n'Igifaransa. Aho nkorera tuvuga ururimi rwihariye, rugizwe bimwe ni ibitutsi, ibindi ni ukurwana, ibindi mu buzima bwo muri gare namwe murahazi, niho ndagiriye. Ubwo baragiye inka birajya gusa n'ibyanjye. So kuhakorera mbere na mbere ni byiza ku mukozi w'Imana kuko ubonye akazi, ariko biranagoye kuhakorera guhindura abo bantu. Bisaba iki rero? Bisaba kumenya uwuriwe n'uwaguhamagaye. Twese ntabwo twahamagariwe gukorera ku musozi umwe. Wowe uri pasiteri mu rusengero, ngiye ku rusengero nsengeramo ndi umusekirite. Nkora muri sekirite, nshinzwe guparikira abantu amamodoka no kuyacunga. Impamvu ari icyo nahisemo nuko ari cyo nzi cyane. Umpaye imodoka yawe mba mbizi neza ujya mu rusengero utuje kuko nzi imodoka. Pasiteri wanjye namubonye, Imana iguhe umugisha pasiteri. Ntabwo nshobora kubeshya kandi simbeshya ndi umukristo. So ntatinze rero hariya aho nkorera ntidukore twese ntabwo dukwiye gukorera ku musozi umwe njyewe nkorera mu wo gutwara abagenzi ntwara bazi ko ndi umurokore. Hari abantu nabonye bicaye hano twigeze gukorana umurimo w'Imana wo kuvuga ubutumwa mu modoka zanjye kera ngifite uduhiyasi, tukajyamo tukavuga ubutumwa, nyuma baza kubyanga biko atari uburyo bwiza bwo kuvuga ubutumwa mu mategeko ya leta, ariko jyewe nabibaraga nkaho Imana yampaye izo modoka kugira ngo nzigire tere yo gukorera Imana, kuko Imana yazimpaye mvuye ku bukarasi, nabaye umukarasi, mba umukonvoyeri, mba umushoferi wa tagisi, ntwarira umuntu tagisi, bigezeho nguri yanjye, bigezeho nyobora muri internationali, bigezeho nkora kampani yanjye, ubu nanjye ndi umukire mu bana. Umunsi mbona perimi, ubu ndavuga ibiri muri iki gitabo, umunsi mbona perimi jyewe kuko nabonaga ngiye mu ijuru ntapfuye, nambaye amagunira nisiga ivu iteraniro umunsi wose, kuko nabonaga kubona perimi ari ukugera mu ijuru kuri jye bitewe n'ubukene nari mfite. So uyu munsi rero Imana, uwo munsi nibwo Imana yambwiye ngo nzaguha umugisha ubera abandi urugero. Imana iravuga kandi irakora. Uyu munsi nshimiye Imana nayo ibyumve ko inyemereye kwicarana n'abakomeye. Nzagukura ku cyavu wicaranye n'ibikomangoma. I am here with the professor, with the apostle. So iryo jambo rirasohoye. Pastor Paddy, nashimishijwe na chapter ya 4 ivuga yuko umuyobozi, ntago byumvikana neza mu Kinyarwanda nimba ari ukugirwa made and araremwa. Made ni ukuremwa, cyangwa arakorwa. Mu Kinyarwanda ntibyumvikana neza, ariko mu by'ukuri jyewe nyuma yo kuhasesengura Pastor Paddy nuko yahavuze Imana iguha umugisha, byombi birakora. Birashoboka ko ushobora kuba umuyobozi, esiritu kuba tureba ubuyobozi n'impano, ariko nanone umuyobozi agirwa uwo ari we, uba umuwari we kubera ko hari uwakugize ko wagutraininze by the way. So iyi chapter yaranshimishije cyane, naranayikunze kandi nzana ya Afrika aho nkorera. Kubera ki kugira umuntu uwo ari we biterwa no kuba umurusha capacity. Ntabwo wahindura umuntu wowe udafite icyo umurusha. So kwigira ku birenge bya Pastor Paddy no kwigira mu gitabo cye bishobora kukugira umuntu ushobora nawe kugira abandi abantu. Ndumva munyemereye. Hari abantu twigiraho ko tutakwikorera ku musozi umwe. Moses bamusanze aragiye, Eliya na Elisa umwe yakoze agenda undi akora agaruka. Yes, kuko hari ibyo batwigisha, umwe tubona agenda agasiga umwitero, undi tukabona agaruka agakorera Imana. Tugiye kureba dusanga Meshaki na bagenzi be bakoreye Imana ibyo tubona cyane ni mu muriro. Jyewe nshobora kuba nkorera mu muriro, wowe ukorera muri biro, ariko twese dukwiye gukorera Imana aho turi hose. Tugiye kureba dusanga Daniel we yarakoreye Imana mu mwobo, wowe ushobora kuyikorera mu ndege. Ahubwo aho hasi ugiye kuyikorera urahasanga iki? Daniel mu mwobo yasanzemo iki? Yasanzemo intare. Icyerekana ko Imana yari kumwe nawe nuko yafunze iminwa yazo. Wowe rero mujya mu mwobo uzahasanga iki? Nujya mu ndege uzahasanga iki? Uzakorera Imana ute? Thank you.
Oh. Another round of applause to Mr. Bayingana. Simply or briefly, he just shared with us his personal life, how he has been working in the park station. Was he carrying the bags of the passengers? He later became what we call convoyed, those bus conductors. Then he just got a chance, he prayed and got a driving permit, the license. He bought one car, a second car. Then he became a businessman of 26 cars. And also now he has also an apartment. He was mentioning that God has been giving him promises of sitting on high tables. And here he is with doctors, with apostles. And he's very grateful for that. And he mentioned that where he's working now is in the car park. And of course, it's another world. There is no protocol, there is no good languages, there is no respect. It's all about like a chaos. But for him, he knows that now that's my field of work. That's where I need to work. That's where God has sent me to work and to serve. He also mentioned that from the church where he is praying from, his ministry is a security guard. Now helping people to park their cars at church. And many more keywords that just shared with us and from the book. Thank you a lot for practicing the servant leadership there. Now, another part of the questions. Now we're going to come to the challenges, because you shared with us, all of you have shared with us your inspiration, your key take from the book about servant leadership. But is it applying servant leadership difficult? What the challenges have faced when you're applying servant leadership where you are working? Let's start with the Pastor Gideon.
Thank you, Pastor. I would say applying servant leadership is not easy according to the book. There is, if you went through the book, there is this part, I don't remember if it's a chapter, personal leadership.
Yes.
Personal leadership. I read about personal leadership was like Jesus Christ. Your meaning to first lead yourself before leading others. You cannot be an effective leader if you want to always lead others.
Leading yourself.
Yes, if you cannot lead yourself. And there are like 4 other things he mentioned, like being rebellious, like pride, like there are like 5 or 6 things, and I was challenged. But the biggest, how can I say this? He mentioned about change. Change. I was blessed by reading about change. I don't know if you went through that.
I did.
Yes, especially internal.
Yeah.
Internal, you know. He was talking about the heart. And we had this privilege before launching this book. He came in Grace Room Ministries.
Okay.
Not once, not twice. Because every week we have trainings. We train leaders. So if I can say he's our daddy, he's our father there.
Yeah.
Yes. Even in the office, with the staff, mornings, like 2 times or 3 times, he came to teach us. But personal leadership, I'm praying about it. Yes, if I can lead myself, it's easy to lead others. And you cannot lead others where you don't, you have never reached or where you don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's my...
Okay. So the main challenge in servant leadership is a personal leadership.
Yes.
Actually, Pastor Paddy said that the heart of the matter is the matter of the heart.
Yes.
And they used to say that the worst animal is the human. Human is the worst animal among animals. So yeah, you are very right, Pastor Julien. And if we are servant leaders, we need to work fast on ourselves, which is the
He,
most.
he even talked about that desire that
Yes.
is always in us, all of us, of being. We always want to be above others.
Yeah,
Do
the
you know
ego,
that?
the ego
That
part of a
ego,
human.
yes, of being above others. You want people to serve you. You want to command people, do this, and then you want to be, you know. Yeah, it's an urge that is so deep. So if you can defeat that, we'll be servant leaders.
Oh, that's the most challenge. Okay, let's applaud for Pastor Julien. Thank you for that attack. Dr. Joan,
Yeah,
what a challenge have you faced or observed?
yeah, thank you very much. One of the things with being a servant leader is that you need an environment where you can be understood, because you can be easily misunderstood. You can be easily, let's say, abused or misused by people. Because you give yourself to serve people, and people take it so much for granted. They think, this person is probably stupid, this person is foolish, how can he be at this level and he has lowered himself to this level? Okay? Other people will run away from you because they think you are tricky, there's something you are after. Okay, you are not yourself, you are not real. Okay? So you need an environment where people understand that this is a style of leadership. Because people are used to so many different styles of leadership. That's why Jesus was very radical. And probably that's why they killed him. Because the things he was doing were contrary to the things the leaders of his day were doing. How can you be saying you are the Messiah, you are the Son of God, and you are here washing people's feet? Okay? And for us, we are the bishops in the synagogue and the synod. And, you know, people just wash our feet. We don't wash their feet. So there is a challenge. You can be easily misunderstood. You can actually become alienated by other leaders. They look at you as a threat. You're trying to make their sheep become rebellious. Because how can you behave different from the way they behave? So that's one. The other thing is that people take advantage of you as a servant leader. You are a good person. You want to help people. You want to be there for people. And people just want to take advantage of you. They come your way just that because they want to exploit your goodness. So as a servant leader, you must also be wise and believe God that, yes, not everybody who comes around you is really, really for you. Some people come around you for what they get out of you. You find Jesus bringing people in his circle like Judas. Just imagine Judas. You are serving Jesus, but you're also stealing from him. It's a big challenge, you know. You know, sometimes as a servant leader, you are very open. Okay, you're very open to people. Your home is open. Everybody knows where you live. Okay, recently we raised up a young girl. She lived with us. Our bedroom is never closed. Then she started to tell some people that, you know what, Dr. Joel has an altar under his bed, and they suck blood from there. You know, there's like a septic pit where they pull away the slab and then they sacrifice people. And of course, people believed because this person has lived in our house. Okay? And some people left the church because of that. But we thank God they went. Sometimes you need to let people go. Okay? Because, yeah, you just need to let people go. Because anyway, they will go. They will make your work of servant leadership very hard. The last challenge that I would want to mention is that it's always tempting. The higher you go, the bigger you want to become. Yet,
Come again.
the higher you go, the bigger you want to become. Okay? You want to be called all kinds of titles. I never use many titles. Okay? I want to simply be called Joel because the titles can become a big problem. They can become an hindrance to people and to free fellowship. But you must intentionally, you know, want to be a servant at every level you reach. Yeah. That's why we see Jesus, even when he was coming into the city, riding on a donkey, everybody putting clothes for him to ride. That is after when he went and washed people's feet. Okay? For many of us, if that kind of experience happened to you, I tell you, okay? You'll change your home, okay? You'll change your talking. You'll change many things about your life. But for Jesus, no. That's the time when he went to the lowest of his life. So the challenge of servant leadership is definitely when you start to serve people, you will go up. But when you go up, don't forget that you're still a servant. Keep serving, no matter what level you get to.
Wow. So that means that being a servant leader, because people, they are used to the other style of leadership, exclude the servant leadership. Whenever you become a servant leader, it becomes a threat instead of a blessing. It's a challenge. And people try to misuse that. But good enough, Pastor Paddy has told us that servant leadership is not a description, it's a prescription. So we don't have anywhere to go. We just need to observe and obey. Thank you, Pastor Paddy, for that inspiration and revelation. Bayingana.
Thank you.
Twara twibaza ngo nk'umuntu wahereye ku busa ukagera aho Imana kugejeje uyu munsi. Servant leadership warayikoresheje mu byo watubwiye. Ni ibihe bintu wabonye bihinyuza bigora umuntu servant leader? Cyane cyane ko wowe ukora n'aba bantu b'abakarasi nyine.
Murakoze. Ngira ngo kenshi jewe nimvuga ndaza kuvuga ku ruhande rw'ubucuruzi kuko nicyo nahamagariwe uretse ko Imana yo yampamagariye n'ibindi. Challenge za mbere cyangwa ingorane za mbere zihere iwacu kubo tubana mu buzima bwa buri munsi ntarajya mu kazi. Abaturanyi muturanye, abakuzi ukiri uko wahoze, abo musengana, abo mubana mu buzima bwa buri munsi bashobora kuguhinyuza uramutse utari servant wahamagawe. Gute? By'ubwanjye bamwe mu bo twasenganye ntabasha kwigurira ikabutura nyuma yo kugira icyo mbona baravuze batagikuzimu kubera ko ari mu cyaro aho nahoze. Ubu naje Kigali nteye ubwoba. Ariko abo bantu kuko twararanye ku karago dusenga twese ntacyo dufite, bakabona hari ibyo Imana ikoze kandi n'ibyo yambwiye yarabimbwiye turi kumwe. Umuntu arongera aragarutse ahinyuje Imana ati ntibisho akora kurusha abandi bose. Icyo cyonyine udahagaze cyaguhinyuza, sibyo? Tugaruke mu kazi. N'ubu nje mvuye kureba ahantu imodoka twebwe dukoresha intoya ya nyuma Pasiteri igeze kuri $186,000. Mvuyeyo nona. Iyo modoka nuyigura ukayigura uko ukwiye kugurwa, ukayikoresha uko ukwiye gukoreshwa, ukayigurira amapiyesi uko akwiye kugurwa, uri kumwe n'undi utabikora uko bikoze, it is a challenge. Ni nk'uko uzajya kugura umugati mu iduka ry'umurokora akaguha IBM, ukajya kugura umugati mu iduka ry'umupagani akakubwira ngo nutayongeraho ntayo nguha. It's a challenge. Icyo kintu gicalengiza abakristo bamwe bavuye no ku Mana bakoze n'ibyaha. Hano muri societe nitubeshyane. Rero gukora ubucuruzi ukabukorera mu nzira nziza ni challenge ikomeye. Ahubwo Pastor Paddy ngira ngo ibyo ari byo byose hari mu bindi bitabo habazabaho umwihariko w'igitabo cy'abacuruzi.
Another assignment.
Umwihariko w'igitabo cy'abacuruzi bakijijwe kugira ngo dukore ubucuruzi kandi bukijijwe. Jewe nasabye Imana ngo mu by'izampa byose izampe ubucuruzi butampinyuza. Ndabaha urugero, nubatse hoteli. Réellement ntabwo wakubaka hoteli itagira inzoga ngo icuruze uko isi bizi. Ariko ndi umugabo wo guhamya ko bishoboka. Yes. Nubatse hoteli nyubaka mu cyaro mpura na challenge ikomeye ivuga ngo wubatse hoteli nziza gutya ndetse n'ubuyobozi bwite bwa leta kandi bukampa ingingo zigaragara wubatse hoteli nziza gutya wanze ko abantu baza kwinezererwamo n'inzoga uragira ngo uzahombe n'abandi bose bange gushora imari mu karere kacu kugira ngo kuko waberetse ko wahombye. It's a challenge. Ariko nanjye mpagarara ku maguru yanjye abiri mbaha ingingo ebyiri. Ndababwira ngo aha hantu nubatse hoteli hari icyapa nabayeho umukarasi. So abantu nabaye umukarasi aho bacuruza inzoga n'uyu munsi baracyazicuruza. Bisobanuye rero ko inzoga ntacyo zimaze. Yewe rero wahabaye ntanywa inzoga nkahava ku bukarasi nkaba ngarutse kubaka hoteli ya miliyoni 100. Inzoga ntabwo iwanjye zifite agaciro cy'umurongo. Iyo rero ni challenge ikomeye wahura nayo ukagamburuzwa, ariko Imana yaje kuntabara kugeza uyu munsi. Ndizera nashidikanya yuko ncuruza neza kandi hari abazanwa nuko hari amahoro. Je nababwiye yuko ibindi nkora ngomba kubikora neza cyane, byaba kurya byaba kuryama. Inzoga bajye bagenda bazinywe bazizane mu nda, kandi mu by'ukuri birahari. Umuntu ajya kunywa inzoga mu kandi kabara kadutuma inkoko tukayimushyirayo kandi nabo botsa. Umuntu ajya kunywa inzoga mu kandi kabara kaza kuryama iwacu kandi nabo bafite ibitanda. So ndi umugabo wo kubihamya, ndasubiza imbaraga mu barokore babacuruzi. Imana bahumugisha.
Thank you, Lad. I'm not quite sure if I can repeat, I can translate everything I said. Eh? But the key point is that as servant leadership is a prescription from heaven, righteousness has to drive servant leadership. That means he managed to do a business, and actually he just mentioned that he has built a hotel, and people, they were saying that he could not make a business without selling beer. And he told them, I'm building a hotel where I used to be that mubukarasi bus conductor. I want to let these people know that those who are selling beer in this place, they have achieved nothing. But for me, who is not selling beer, I have a hotel. So that means beer is nothing. Now, he's showcasing that serving God and being servant leader with righteousness, now he's a very big businessman. That was a key point in everything I said. So I think time is not on our side, but I would like to ask just in 30 seconds, what message can you give to the audience, those online or in this hall, about how the servant leadership would remain relevant in what every person is doing in his own ministry or workplace?
Yeah, I think as we had said, learn to follow. Find somebody that you can learn from, follow, be a good sheep, and the rest will be sorted.
Okay.
Desire to be a servant before you can be a leader.
A leader. Wow. That's a keynote.
Thank you. Nanje icyo na saba audience ibintu bitatu. Ikintu cya mbere nabasaba ni ukuba barokore aho uri hose.
Yego.
Mu buryo bumwe cyangwa ubundi aho uri hose ukaba umurokore. Icya kabiri ni ugukoresha iki gitabo, kuko nugisoma neza kirimo ubwenge kandi bwinshi. Icya gatatu nababwiye ko ndi umucuruzi mu buryo bw'umwuga. So nk'umucuruzi mu buryo bw'umwuga, nubwo mwese mutunze imodoka zanyu, ariko uzajya iburasirazuba azatege Matunda Express. Iyo uri umunyamwuga ubikora nk'umwuga, ugasaba ko n'umuntu wese ufite abashyitsi yajya duhamagara tukamuha apartment. Ubwo ni umucuruzi mu buryo bw'umwuga, namwe mbigishije ubwenge. Murakoze.
Thank you, Bayingana.
Byose byitwa Matunda, imwe ni Matunda Express, ariyo public transport. Natangiye kugura amakamyo yitwa Matunda Cargo, ubwo bafite kontineri. Mfite iyitwa Matunda Apartment, iri Kicukiro munsi ya Mount Kenya. Mfite na Matunda Resort Hotel iri ku Rusumo. Murakoze.
Thank you, Bayingana. So we need to become all the clients to Matunda because they are fruits of prayers, by the way. Good. Thank you. And the last word from Pastor Julienne.
Yes, I would say, let's be servants before we dream to be leaders, to be big. And if we are servants, we will be good influencers, and we will lead people God's way.
Wow, wow. I don't approach to the panelists. We can't leave this stage without thanking Pastor Pade for the content he shared with us. For me, I work with Pastor Pade in Bugesera. He's a leader of the art of revival. The first thing that Pastor Pade did in Bugesera, when he was coming there called by God to serve in the Bugesera, he first looked for all the pastors in the Bugesera district, reaching out to each and everyone. He spent 2 years without planting a church, yet spending time by accompanying, supporting, praying, interacting with the pastors only. And he was to tell them, I've become here to be a servant instead of being a leader. And yet, for all of us who know him, he has really a big testimony behind him. He had a ministry, he had everything, but when he came in with Sarah, he became as a servant instead of a leader. And we need to recognize that. Thank you, Pastor Pade, for being that, and Ma'am. So thank you, given this opportunity. Let's thank our panelists that they are taking their seats, and we welcome MC to continue with the other program agenda.